Hi. So today I want us to talk about OSH, Occupational Safety and Health. And I know it's a bit of a strange topic because most people still don't get the difference between OSH and security. Sometimes when I say I'm into safety, people imagine that I'll carry a rungu, a helmet, and a vest, but I just want to break it down a bit. So OSH, the definition is Occupational Safety and Health. This is a field of study that just deals with making sure that you as a worker, wherever you work, whether you're self-employed, even for self-employed persons, that place where you go to work, that is a workplace. That when you get into that space and you're working, at the end of the day, you are either better or the same way you came in and not worse. Let me explain this. So when you're looking at occupational safety and health, the first word occupational basically tells you about the safety and health of a person within their working space, the occupation that you are into. So you're looking at your occupational safety and health, that which you do and how do we keep you safe and healthy. But why even bother about health and safety? I'll give you 3 global reasons, just from a wider perspective, as to why we talk about OSH. So number 1, we say it's because it is morally right. A moral reason that every person who puts together a business or a process does not do it with the intention of harming another human being. And it does not matter whatever religion you subscribe to. I'm yet to meet a religion that has no respect for human life. So everyone who sets up a business or an enterprise does not do it with an intention of hurting another human being. So it is therefore expected that naturally, then you'll do everything in your power to ensure that this trade does not hurt the other human being. However, sometimes the moral compass might be different. So we cannot rely fully on morality for people to be able to keep other people safe. So we have a second reason. And the second reason we say is a legal reason. Legal reason means every country, basically, that has structures and is not a banana republic, they are not at war, has legal systems to protect workers from anything that might hurt their health or even injure them in the course of their work. So what are we saying? That in Kenya, for example, there is a law we call OSHA 2007, the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 2007, that guarantees every single Kenyan a safe and healthy working environment. And leave alone the Kenyan legislation, at a global level, ILO in 2022 finally recognized that a safe and healthy working environment is not only a requirement, but a fundamental human right. So you're no longer doing it just because, OSHA is going to find me or it's good to do it. It is now a human right, actually, to have a safe and healthy working environment. So the second reason is that there are laws that will force you to do what is right and keeping your workers safe. The third reason, and I think this is where most of you need to pay attention, is what we call a business reason. That doing good is good for business. And I think that is Richard Branson who said that. Doing good is good for business. What do I mean? If you're going to run a process that is going to hurt your technicians, that is going to hurt even your personal self, as an entrepreneur, or even going to hurt your best workers, there are so many things that are going to go wrong that you'll eventually have to close. And I'll explain why. Number 1, you have the legal costs of defending yourself when someone gets injured. You have the medical costs to take care of. You have the cost of repairing the machinery that has gone bad because of incidents that could actually have been preventable. There is a cost of the lost product because if a machine breaks down and it had a product in the system, that product is also wasted. There are people who will not touch you even with a yardstick as long as you're not complying with health and safety. If you look at the blue chip companies in Kenya, after you've passed the financial and the technical, the other thing they must look for is whether you're compliant with the OSH and the environmental laws of Kenya. If you're not compliant, in fact, I find so many people calling, can I get this certificate to do a tender? So you're rushing for a certificate last minute to do a tender because literally it is going to kill your business if you do not do the right thing. I would want you to do the cost of not complying, and you realize that it is way more costly not to comply than it is to comply and just do the right thing, including even the workers' morale. When the workers know that you're doing everything in your power to protect them, they also feel that they are appreciated, they belong, and they give their full. But if they know I'm going to lose a finger, every morning they wake up, they're wondering, why must I go to this workplace if the risk of losing my finger is that high? So those 3 reasons are the reason why we do occupational health and safety. And there are so many other things that can fall wherever within those three regions. And we'll be discussing them as we go. So you're there wondering, how do we get there? And it's something we call culture. What is culture? Culture is basically how we do things. It is what, when you get into a place, say a bank, for example. I used to admire being a banker because there's a way bankers you dress, you're in a nice suit, neat, your tie is done in a certain way. It is not because you guys loved suits from the word go, but it is because that is a culture in the banking industry. All right? You go to the media industry and you'll find all sorts of dreadlocks and whatever, because that is a culture that is there. So this thing called culture is very crucial. That when you're talking now about a safety culture, it is the way an organization is known to treat issues of health and safety. So when you're talking about how do we start a safety culture, it is basically the small things that you do on a day-to-day within the business that contribute to the habits, and these habits become the norm, and the norm now is known as the culture of the organization. If in your organization using a helmet is considered as a uniform, for example, not because anything is going to fall on you, or even if it falls, then it is considered as bad luck, that is not something that would qualify as a safety culture. A safety culture is a conscious decision for everyone to make a decision based on the hazards and the risks that are present in the workplace and decided to do something about it and not just depend on luck. So safety culture is something that you have to build, that you have to invest in. It does not come automatically. It comes from training. It comes from what you'd call incentivizing safe behavior within the workplace and reinforcing that good behavior. And sometimes, worst case scenario, then you have to punish even unsafe behavior so that you create a model where people can learn from. So it is a complex topic, but it is also a simple one in the sense that for you to get there, you don't get there in a day. If you ask me to come and do audits and train your staff, you cannot now say our safety culture has all of a sudden improved because you engage James to come and give an awareness talk to our people. That awareness talk has to be followed by an action matrix. It has to be followed by activities in the workplace that remind everyone of their role in keeping themselves and their colleagues safe in the workplace on a daily basis. So how are we doing as a country in Kenya? I don't think I want to be the judge of that. I want you to do your own assessment. Look at the media. Look at the statistics of accidents in our country. And you'll be the judge as to whether we are doing well. And now move beyond Kenya. And I want you to look at Africa generally. How are we performing in the mining industry? How many mines are collapsing? How many of our people are losing their limbs in the course of production of goods and services? How many of our people are losing their lives as they travel on the roads, as they try to basically just make a living? You be the judge. But I'll tell you this, safety culture. For improvement, we have to do more than empty talk. And I'll give you a very abstract example. This may not even fall within a workplace. I want you to look at our roads and think about two things. Number one, road marking and road signage. As basic as they are, let's forget about the potholes that sometimes you have to maneuver and then meet the oncoming traffic and an accident happens. I want you to think about just basic, simple marking of the roads, marking at the bumps, and signage to actually tell you that you're actually approaching a bump. That in itself will tell you how we are performing as far as safety culture is concerned. So as we continue to think about these things, I want to hear from you what else you think should be done to improve our culture in Kenya and beyond Kenya to Africa. Thank you.